Hello everybody. So today I wanted to share with you a fun giveaway I won off an Instagram giveaway run by Loft pens, and they're located in the UK, but they were generous enough to sort of open it up. I think it was worldwide, so I was super excited when I actually won the giveaway because this is a really interesting pen. So let's take a look at it. So in the package you get this 3D printed cool little pen case. I believe these are little items that maybe you can switch out on here for the pen case. I think that's what that is. And it's the Loft Pens Bespoke, so that's their business card. And then they also give you a little tea bag, Yorkshire tea, so that will be exciting to drink that. I love English tea. So let's take a look at this pen. So this cool little thing opens up like this. And it has the pen in it. Of course, I've already opened it and had a look. And they have like a little cleaning cloth in here. And it just pops out of that container. And then you have the pen. So here is the pen resin. It's this gorgeous mix of kind of lime green and white. And it has this weird sort of peachy, salmon-y chatoyance to it in spaces. It really looks very nebulous to me. It looks very sort of space, swampy space themed. It's really beautiful, and I think the matte finish just adds to that sort of ethereal, spacey look. And then the section is similar to the cap here, has more of that sort of milky resin with the dark browns and greens compared to these bright greens in the body here. And then the nib is just a Jowo. I think I got it in an extra fine. Actually, it was an extra fine. You didn't get to choose on the giveaway. And then it has a converter, which is great. And I have a bunch of different Jowo nibs and a couple of different Esterbrook nibs. So I can easily switch this out, which is great. You can just screw it out, which I probably will do because I'm not a huge fan of extra fine. So these just screw out like this. I love it when makers use these Jowo housings so you can just switch and swap. So let's choose a nib to go in here. Let's see, what do I have? Okay, so I have an SD Extra Fine Flex, so I could put that one in. I have a Fountain Pen Revolution Ultra Flex. I have another Jowo Extra Fine, which we are swatching out, so I probably won't do that one. I have a Jowo Fine. Ooh, and I have this Wiltshire double broad, which is really interesting. Oh, maybe I want to use this one. Is this a gold nib too? Yeah, so this is a gold nib. So I got this one off AliExpress. It's sort of like a zoom nib. It's really interesting. So maybe we'll put that one on and play with that. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so hopefully it's just going to screw in here. Yep, look at that. Isn't that wonderful? So nice and tight. And does that fit? No. Oh, I have to use a Jinhao converter with this. So this one goes with the Jowo. So I have a couple of Jinhao converters in here, and I had to try a bunch of different converters. They're not all the same, so I ended up sort of going through all my Jinhaos and seeing if it would fit, and only a couple did. The actual nib unit didn't come with a converter, and I thought, oh, it's just going to fit, you know, a normal Jowo housing converter, but it does not. Obviously, I just tried to put that one on and it didn't work. So it's hard to know what Jinhao converters are going to fit. It's a bit of trial and error if you have a bunch. I just tried them, and then I found 2 or 3 that actually worked with this. Yeah, so I guess we will take a look at some ink swatches and see what I want to match with this pen. Okay, so I picked a bunch of colors. First off, we have Teranishi Opera Rose, which picks up that sort of apricot-y, pinky color in the shimmer there. Then we have Robert Oster Avocado, which I think is a lovely match for the lighter greens. Troublemaker Kelp Tea, which has kind of those pinky highlights plus the green. In the when you write with it, it doesn't have a lot of that variation, but still that green is really pretty. Then we have Vinta Piloncitos. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I am not sure how to say that. But I think this is a beautiful match. It has that sort of green color. It's not as vibrant as what is in the pen, but it has sort of that pinky shimmer, which is lovely. We have Monteverde Moonstone, which is a nice match for the chocolatey brown in there. We have Anderillium Cuttlefish Brown, which is a bit of a cooler brown, which maybe matches a little bit better than the Monteverde one. And then the last one we have is Dominant Industry Autumn Forest, which I think is a fabulous match. The green is a little maybe dirtier than the pen. It's sort of a bit more vibrant green in here, a bit more spring green, but I love the sort of shimmer in there. It's a little cooler shimmer compared to what's in the pen, but I like how the text here matches quite well with that. So I think that's a contender. I really like the Autumn Forest, and I really liked the Vinta as well, the Piloncitos. So maybe one of these two or the Cuttlefish Brown. Okay, so I'm going to choose one, ink it up, and we'll come back and do a writing test. Alright, so the ink that I decided to go with was this Dominant Industry Autumn Forest, and I didn't have much in there, so I ended up just syringe filling the converter. So put that over there. Let's give it a test run. So again, this nib did not ship with the pen. I put it on here, and it's kind of I'm not really quite sure what type of nib it is. On AliExpress they said it was a double broad in a Jowo housing, but it is definitely not. It's much more interesting. So let's give it a write and see. I think if I maybe change the angles, it's going to change the width of the line. So let's take a look. All right, so this is the Loft pens, and this is, the colorway is interesting. It wasn't actually named, so let's just put the colors in that they mentioned. It is white bronze, brown olive, and then it is the Wiltshire model. And the ink, oh, and this is a, let's say, special double broad, because I don't know really what it is. And the ink is Dominant Industry Autumn Forest. Yeah, this is an interesting nib. You can hear it has a lot of feedback. It may be a little scratchy. Maybe I need to tune this a little bit. Okay, this is Editing Jenna, and I found this card. I'm not sure how I missed it, but it actually says that the color is Aurora Fog. So it does have a color name. I just didn't write it on my little writing sample, but if you're trying to track down this resin, that's what it is. And I also did a little bit more writing, and there is some shimmer coming through now. I think I just had to wait for it to sort of feed through the pen, but it's really nice and wet. It's definitely more for people that write with larger handwriting. You can sort of hold it up really straight and it will write thinner, but it's not, you know, the most comfortable sort of writing position. But it does these beautiful sort of flourishes at the end of your writing, and it's kind of like writing with a stub nib, but with a bit more character. And I did do a little bit of research into what nib it could be like, because it wasn't mentioned in the AliExpress post at all, and I just wrote special double bold, but it's actually, I think it's kind of like a Naginata togi kind of nib, so it has kind of like a teardrop shape. So if that gives you a little bit more information about this nib, I really like it. It writes nice and smooth and super wet. I did have to sort of do a couple of little marks on the micro mesh, but it cleaned up fast. It was just sort of catching a little bit. Okay, so let's do a little size comparison just so you can see. I have my 3 handmade pens here, or bespoke pens. This is the Wiltshire model from Loft Pens. This is the Frenchie from Woodworkers of North Carolina. And then this is the Velma model from Bone Crusher 7 Studios. So very similar in size. The Loft pen, or the Wiltshire model, is a little more tapered at the end here. Let's have a look at the sections on these just so we can see. It feels very comfortable. Yeah, so similar width on the grip section. It doesn't have any sort of tapering or flaring out. It's quite a straight section. But yeah, very comfortable, and the matte finish makes it really grippy, so I really quite like that. It's a little bit more matte than this satin finish on the Bone Crusher, but very similar. Yeah, so that's the grip sections on these if you're interested. Let me compare it to a couple of other more mainstream pens. Okay, so here we have the Esterbrook SD. We have the Benu Euphoria model, the TWSBI Eco, and the Sailor Pro Gear. This is the Pro Gear, not the Pro Gear Slim, even though it looks so teeny tiny against these pens. So yeah, you can see the size comparison there. Let's have a look at them with the caps off. Okay, so that's the comparison with the caps off. As we can see, it's very similar in length to the Eco and the Benu Euphoria. The SD is a little bit shorter, as you can see, and the Pro Gear is the smallest of all. But yeah, pretty comparable to these two. Yeah, I think that's all the stuff that I wanted to mention, and I just wanted to give another shout out to Loft Pens for doing this beautiful giveaway. I really love it, and I'm excited to get writing with it. So thanks for joining me, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!